Guys, say what you will. Jasmy Coin has been one of the front runners within the crypto market, and it has run in comparison to the rest of the altcoins, guys. Jasmy Coin's done one thing. It's taken out its lower high. It's put in a new higher high, and this previous resistance is now flipping support, guys. We're running into FOMC, and Jerome Powell, he's going to speak tomorrow. Are we going to get any dovish sentiment? Because on the back of the dovish sentiment, that'll give positive sentiment for not just crypto, guys, traditional markets as well. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a bit of hope within the market. And unfortunately, it's the man that's got to tell us. So we're dictated by what he says. However, as far as the charts are concerned, guys, like I said, that was previous resistance. That is now flipping support. That is now holding support. We're oversold on the indicators. Exactly what I'd said. At a higher low, things are looking pretty good for Jasmy Coin. We just need that driving catalyst. And this is what I'm looking for next. Okay, so what is the next move going to be on Jasmy Coin, guys? We are going to be dictated what Jerome Powell says tomorrow. Is he going to do a rate cut, guys? The market's built in no rate cuts. However, if he's got a bit of dovish sentiment to say that he's got an indication that he's going to hint for rate cuts going forward, or more rate cuts than what was initially built in, because the economy doesn't look great, guys. They've had a retraction as far as US is concerned, as far as like GDP is concerned, because of the tariffs. So that's a signal to the Fed. Fed needs to do something. That's a warning shot. Will Jerome Powell listen, or will he continue with his stance? We don't know, guys. We're ultimately dictated by him. But what we're going to talk about is the analysis, the charts, what needs to happen, what if it goes wrong. So we're 0.01549. What I want to show you guys is support bases, resistance bases, why these things hold and why these things become resistance once they drop, and why they become support once they fall back to them. So depending on whether you're bullish, depending on what whether you're bearish, what are you going to do, guys? What is a bearish trend? A bearish trend is when you're putting in lower lows, you're putting in lower highs, you're putting in lower lows, you're putting in lower highs, and you're putting in lower lows. Now, what happens between these lower lows and lower highs, guys? You've dropped this level. That level's your base. That was previous support. You drop that support, that comes down, that acts as resistance until it comes back down and flips the other way, guys. Until it comes back down and completely reverses, takes out this previous lower high, puts in a new high, comes back down, and then the trend's reversed the other way around. That's why you see these patterns like inverse head and shoulders and that kind of thing, guys, where the bears haven't managed to put in a new lower low, they've put in a higher low, come back, tested the neckline. That's signaling strength, guys, from a psychological perspective, from a price action perspective. That's showing us that something's changing. That's what happened here on Jasmy Coin, guys. And these are the shelves. You can see these are the clear shelves. What was previous support, that acts as resistance. What's that going to tell us, guys? Going forward, that is going to be a key resistance point. Expect to get a reaction from there. You've got more shelves here, guys. You've got a shelf here. What's that going to act as? A resistance point. What's that coinciding with, guys? The 200 period moving average. What does that create for us? It creates a zone of resistance. What does that mean, guys? If you're taking a trade, that's going to be your first area of taking profits. Wait for a pullback. Then you can accumulate at a lower level. You can take 50% off the table at resistance, add 50% as support. Just as an example, guys, use your own techniques, use your own risk management. But if it plays out something like this, you're coming up. We know that this is going to be resistance because that was the previous shelf. Expect that to be resistance. Does that mean that the move's invalidated? No, guys, because this was your previous resistance, 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 resistance. Once you've broken through here, tested the next resistance point, expect to come back and test this as support, guys. When it comes back and tests support, what needs to happen? Your indicators need to be oversold. So we were overbought at this level here. And this is what we were talking about in the last two Jasmy videos. We were overbought. The aim of the game, because we'd just broken a new high, the aim of the game, previous resistance, needs to flip support. So we'd come back down, and I'd said one thing. When we come back down and hold this support, if this is oversold, and we're putting in a higher low from the last time it was oversold, that's signaling that the bullish trend is still intact and we're expecting a further move to the upside. So there's a higher probability, guys, once we've cracked this trend here, we're going to move to the next support. That next support is going to come back. We'll hold that as support. So next resistance, then we'll hold the next run as support. And guys, that is pretty much a trend reversal because you've taken out the lower high, you've taken out the lower high, you've taken out the lower high, you've put in a higher high, you've put in a higher low, another higher high. We're waiting for the next higher low. And then, guys, we can start trying to break the 200 daily moving average. Once we're above there, the traffic light system will come in play. Anyone wants to know about the traffic light system, go back and watch the previous videos, guys. It's three moving averages. It's 20, it's the 50, and the 200. You've got your 200 at the bottom, the 50 in the middle, and your 20 at the top. And what happens, guys? What happens when you've got the green, the 200 at the bottom, you've got the yellow in the middle, and you've got the 20 at the top? That's your traffic light system in play. Bam, move to the upside. Move to the upside. So happens time and time again, guys. In the opposite, when you've got the green at the top, you've got the yellow in the middle, you've got the red at the bottom. That's the opposite. You're bearish. Prices underneath that. Expect further downside. So we are reversing, guys. We are putting in higher highs. We are putting in higher lows. We are creating reversal patterns. Just got to wait to see what Jerome Powell says. When is it tomorrow? Not sure what time it is tomorrow, guys, but it is going to be an important one, and it is something that is probably going to drive the market. Whether it's going to be positive, whether it's going to be negative, we're dictated by what he says. But one thing from a pattern perspective, guys, that I notice is when you're running into a news event and you're pumping into a news event, often then that creates negative sentiment after the news event. When you're going down into a news event, often, guys, the news event creates positive sentiment because the move has already been pulled back. People are already scared. The move's already been done. Whatever happens, whatever he says, it can't get any worse. And then you get positive sentiment on the back of that. It's all about the markets forward looking, guys, and the markets building in whatever they think is the highest probability of happening. So we're dictated by him. We'll wait to see what he says. I've got Cardano in the next video. See you in the next one.